Hello, welcome to Oxford Heirlooms. This is an introduction to project number 44, which I'm calling Little Lamb's Day Gown. This is going to be an ivory little day gown with green edging along the hem and along the sleeves, and it's going to be smocked with two little lambs. It'll have some smocking on the sleeves, and then it'll have little flowers embroidered along the hemline. Now, let me give you some backstory on why I'm making this project. Unfortunately, when I divorced years ago, I left my day gowns that I had made for my children in my husband's closet, and I have never been able to get them again. But I do still have the original pattern that I bought in 1982 when I first began to do smocking and everything. So I have all the smocking plates for all of the day gowns that I made years ago. So I've decided to begin to recreate the day gowns. Now, the pattern that I originally used, I will tell you that I bought this in 1982. Didn't have a child of my own until 1987, and I realized that the day gown was much too big for a newborn. So after making the initial day gown, I redrafted the pattern to make more day gowns, and this is actually the Becca day gown, which appears in Classic Sewing magazine. It's a little raglan sleeve day gown with a little bit of smocking in the front, and you can do just a wide variety of sleeve treatments and hem treatments in it. Now, this appears in the Classic Sewing magazine fall 2023. It also appears in winter 2023 and fall 2024. So if you've got one of those three magazines, you can download the pattern for making a day gown. Okay, now the materials that I'm going to use making this particular day gown. Okay. Now, I'm going to need 7/8 of a yard of Imperial Batiste, and the color that I'm using is rice. The reason I'm using Imperial Batiste, and the reason I used Imperial Batiste years ago, is that my children wore day gowns from when they were newborn until they were actually sitting up when I changed from putting them in day gowns to putting them in bubbles and rompers. So I used Imperial Batiste because it has a little bit of polyester in it, and I could wash the day gowns in the washing machine and simply hang them up to dry, and they didn't get very wrinkled. Okay, we'll need a little bit of mint green thread in order to do the detail on the sleeve and on the hemline. We'll need some ecru thread to sew the garment. We need 1 each of 1/4 inch buttons, 2 inches of 1/16 inch ribbon to make a little ribbon loop, and the DMC flosses that I'm using on my smocking plate, which I'll show you in just a minute, is ecru, blanc, which is white, number 369 mint green, which matches the green thread, number 646 gray for the little eyeballs and ears and the legs of the little lambs, and number 727 yellow for the little flowers that I'll be smocking and embroidering. Okay, now the smocking plate that I'm using, I think this plate is still available. I bought this back in 1982. It's by Ellen McCarn, and it's her smocking plate called Little Lambs. It's a very, very easy picture smocking plate, and what I'll do on the front of the day gown, I will smock 2 little lambs like shown in the picture here that are facing one another. So it's going to be really, really sweet. Okay, now I'll put the materials list up as a slide at the end of the video. Okay, now once again, the pattern that I'm using comes from the magazine, Classic Sewing magazine, Fall 2023, or some of the other issues too. And it is the Becca day gown, designed by me, Carol Livingston, or drafted by me. I have made this day gown. I mean, I have literally lost count how many times I've made this day gown over the years. But once again, this is an introduction to project number 44, which I'm calling Little Lamb's Day Gown. And as time goes through, I'm going to be recreating almost all, at least as many that I can remember, that I can recall. I'm going to recreate the little day gowns that I made for my girls years ago. And I will hang them up in my grandmother's hope chest and hope that I have grandchildren someday. Thank you.